Some airlines are dropping their flights to Cuba. Others are rushing to add more weekly schedules.
So what's behind this new trend, and will it last? Our Hatzavela investigates from Havana.
4 major airlines want more flights to Cuba. In the past couple days, American, JetBlue, Southwest, and Delta have applied for additional flights to the island nation. The airlines want to fill the void left behind by Spirit, Frontier, and Silver Airways, smaller airlines that decided to leave the Cuba market completely.
The airlines that went into Cuba first were all pioneers.
And like pioneers, some are able to last longer than others, says Henry Hartevelt, an analyst in the travel industry.
They are risk takers. They have the revenues and profitability that allow them to take a long-term look at Cuba.
As for pricing, he says it depends on demand. A good sign, he says, is that 2 of the 4 airlines asking for more flights are low-fare carriers.
I think it's a good thing for consumers to have a selection of airlines, especially if they're adding flights.
More flights means more seats that have to be filled, and airlines have to compete to get you to book a ticket.
I think that if they're able to find people to fill those spots, it would be better.
This California resident flew American Airlines and was surprised to see few people on her flight. She thinks that's partly because most Americans still do not know how you get to Cuba.
It is a rigorous process because they require you to document what kind of tourist you are.
We met these 3 ladies from Tampa who had just arrived and were on their first tour.
I think it's going to increase. I think a lot of people that I mentioned I was going to Cuba and they sounded very interested.
They paid $177 round trip on Southwest. They're not complaining about the price, but other tourists complain about the hassles that come with traveling to Cuba.
If the U.S. and Cuba are able to link up financial networks, and so it's easier for American travelers there, for example, to withdraw cash at Cuban bank ATMs or use their U.S.-issued credit cards at Cuban merchants, that will help with travel to Cuba.
Those changes when it comes to the financial relationship between both countries is in the hands of the U.S. Congress, which right now is dealing with President Donald Trump's first 100 days in office. Our airline analyst says if traveling to Cuba continues to be challenging, perhaps within a year, you will see these same airlines scale back. I'm Hatzavela, Local 10 News, Havana.